I am Eli Johnson with NerdWithColor.org. Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, Eli. Hello.
So let's jump right into it. You have a very storied filmography, a lot of variety in the characters and roles that you played. In what ways were you attracted to the role, and did you relate to your character, Shanahi, for The Witcher Blood Origin?
Well, she's a great character. Like I like to think I only play great characters. Like they,
I could
you,
agree with
yeah,
that.
you wanna. It's always great to make an impact, but you also, when you're entering into such a huge, already existing world, like you got to fit in, right? You've got to really understand the function of your character. And Declan, who, you know, wrote on The Witcher and created Blood Origin, he was so clear about who this person was and her backstory and gave me so much history. And like, it's amazing. She's a shape shifting, timeless elf, like, who can move between worlds and time. I mean, it's a great jumping off point. Plus, in Blood Origin, she is the narrator of this new story that heralds the prototype of The Witcher.
Absolutely. So, taking things way back to the beginning, what was your first introduction to The Witcher as a franchise? Did you get into the books or into the games? How did you kind of find out about it?
Well, I've got to be honest. I was obviously aware of The Witcher because it's a huge, like, one of the biggest shows in the world. And I knew that there'd been a book, and my kid had wanted me to play the game, but I was like, you're too young. So I hadn't, until I was offered this role, I hadn't really immersed myself in that world. But I have now. Um,
That's all that
I have now.
matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter how you get there.
Yep. So Shauna, he is a very strong and decisive character who really moves the needle forward, so to speak. One thing that makes Blood Origin stand out in the sword and sorcery scene right now is the diversity of the cast of characters, I feel. So what does it mean to you to be a part of such a diverse cast and kind of taking things forward with strong female characters?
I mean, like, I've been waiting. I've been waiting. It's been TikTok for for everything that you're seeing is like what I'd hoped like filmmaking can represent because it's brilliant and it's great and it's it's time. So I'm such a Sophia, who I feel is at the very center of the show. Like Isla is, it is such an amazingly strong character, and she is such a beautiful actress. Like not just physically, but like who she is and how deep she runs. Like it's really cool, and it's. I also love the idea that we're living in a world here in The Witcher where you know, you're celebrated for your difference and you're also punished for your difference. It's there's a weird equality in the Witcher universe about the otherness. Sometimes it's accepted and sometimes it isn't. So it's but Blood Origin is the great prequel to The Witcher.
Absolutely. Well, I got a screener of the show earlier and it looks fantastic. You and the entire cast did such a great job. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing the show once it comes out.
Thank you. Thanks so
Right
much.
into it. What was your first introduction to The Witcher as a franchise? Was it through the books or the games or through the series, Francesca?
For me, it was the TV series, and it was a treat because I watched the TV series after I'd got the part. So to watch it is one thing, but to watch it and be like, "Oh wow, I'm entering this universe," is another thing. So yeah, with a pizza in hand, I binged the whole thing.
Yeah, I had played the games when I was younger. My brother had bought them for me for Christmas once, and so I kind of I knew what I was stepping into in that sense. But even I was shocked at the world. I never realized how big it was, man. The world you step into, The Witcher, with the books, the games, and the TV series now is there's such a passionate and loving fan base for it.
Mm.
It was yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I don't think.
Absolutely. So, Francesca, you portray Meldoc, who is easily one of the most tenacious characters and my personal favorite from the series so far.
Ah,
And what
thank
ways
you,
do you
very
relate
kind.
to your character?
I mean, I think we all want to be a badass at some point in our lives, and then a character like Meldoff comes along, and I'm like, this is my chance. I'm going to have a killer warhammer, and I'm going to go out for vengeance. And I just love the physicality of her and the fighting and the wittiness and the quick humor and the heart. She has a lot of heart. And it was a joy to do some of the more emotional scenes and and tell the story of the Dwarven kingdoms, and yeah, and to meet all these lovely people because we all bonded so well and just had a treat of a time.
Absolutely. How about you, Hugh? How is your relationship as portraying Brother Death in the series?
Yeah, I think when you hear a name like Brother Death, you're expecting to be one thing and one thing only, right? And I'm a big bald guy, and I'm used to playing these kind of hard characters or whatever. And whilst Brother Death is that, it'd be very easy to kind of paint by numbers with him, but he has this heart and this eternal love for characters like Zachary and that, which is a real pleasure to play, because you don't often get to do that with a character such as Brother Death. And I really take my hat off to Declan and thank him for writing such an emotionally sensitive and emotionally educated character.
Absolutely. So one thing that makes Blood Origin stand out in Sword and Sorcery right now is the diversity of the cast of characters, from ethnicities to creeds, races, and everything in between, which you don't often see that kind of representation in that genre. So what does it feel like, and what does it mean to you to be a part of that kind of history in the making, so to speak, Francesca?
It's amazing, and I think it's so exciting that these sort of casts are being formed in the fantasy genre. And for me, it's a beautiful slice of the world we live in, and it makes it more relatable. You'll then representation really matters, and especially with the whole cast, even it means everything to me. It's one of the main reasons it makes me so proud to be a part of it. Yeah, it means the world to me.
Absolutely.
I think fantasy as a genre is something where everybody should feel welcome and everyone should feel like they are it's something they're a part of. And if we do even a small little bit of that, then I will feel extremely proud to be part of that. And I hope it does. I really do. I really do, because it's been a fantastic experience. And as I say, fantasy should be a safe place for people, and a place that they can feel that they can exist.
Absolutely. Well, I was able to get a screener of the first 4 episodes. Once again, I think you guys are really kind of the heart and soul of the series so far, and you guys all did a great job. It's from the entire cast. So really excited for this to get out into the world in December and for people to kind of see what you guys have been working on. So thank you so much again for your time. The Witcher comes out in December.
Thank you so much, man. Have a lovely day.
You. Take care. Bye.
Same to you. Thank you.
Take it easy.
So starting from the very top, what was your first introduction to The Witcher as a franchise? Was it through the books or through the games or through the series? Lizzie.
For me, it was through the series. So primarily it was through actually the beautiful material that I was sent over for my audition for Zachary, which was a real kind of a window into this incredible fantasy universe. And then from there, my love for the Witcher world really grew, and it was from there I really started to explore all the corners of it. So that was my introduction. But I think one of the wonderful things about this fantasy world is that it's ever evolving, ever changing, ever expanding, and there's always more to find. There's always more stories to uncover, more characters to meet.
How about you, Zach? How did you kind of get introduced to everything?
Very similarly, yeah. It was the series. The series was the first thing I had seen, and then I was sent over an edition piece that Declan had written, our showrunner, and kind of got involved in Blood Origin in that way, and realized the similarities and the differences between Witcher and Blood Origin, and how much Blood Origin actually progresses the story that already exists in The Witcher. You know, all these little blanks being filled in, and I guess character development that you understand from watching Blood Origin. I mean, a fresh set of characters, a fresh set of ideas, and I mean, you have a new couple of monsters and stuff. You know, it's a really exciting show.
Absolutely. Well, kind of jumping off of that, Sindril is a really unique character within the mythology. So in what ways do you relate to your character, Zach?
I think I relate to Sindril's determination. I think he's quite determined to right the things that he's wrong, but also to better himself and to push himself. And I think that's something that I can hold on to. I think I'm quite interested in magic myself, not to the capability of creating life, but I think there's a part of me that has some magical interest and involvement as well. So I connect with Syndrel on that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Lizzie, last question for you. You play character Zachary. She's a very strong character, and this show is really dominated by an amazing cast of strong female characters, which is one thing that makes Blood Origin stand out among the sword and sorcery genre right now. So, what does it feel like, and what does it mean to you to be a part of such a diverse cast of characters, creeds, and ethnicities like this?
Absolutely, it's genuinely such a privilege and an honor. I as a disabled actress as well, it's been so special to be a part of a world and a universe in which anything and anyone feels possible, and the power that comes with difference is celebrated and uplifted. And I think what this show really shows is what happens, what can be achieved, what beautiful, special, powerful things can be achieved when all different kinds of people come together and celebrate that difference and uplift each other and elevate each other. And I think that's what this show does so beautifully. I think that's what the world that Declan and our team has created does so fantastically. And it's such an important message, I think, for the world right now. And I'm really looking forward to sharing it.
Likewise, thank you guys so much for your time. I was
Thank
able to get a screen of the first 4 episodes. I think you guys absolutely knocked it out of the park. And just like you, I'm excited for the world to get to see The Witcher Blood Origin when it premieres in December. Thank you guys so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Taking things back to the very beginning, what was your first introduction to The Witcher as a franchise? Was it through the books or as the games? Lawrence, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, I was a massive fan of the games for years, and I didn't know there were books until the show actually came out, and I read Blood of Elves before we started shooting. But again, with the game, I think I've done a playthrough of it 3 times. So when we stopped shooting the show, I'd go straight back to the apartment and just turn it on. So I pretty much stayed in the continents the whole time we were shooting, on and off set.
How about for you, Sophia?
I was a watcher of the show before auditioning for it, and then after getting the part, binged the show again, and then kind of left it there to create our world. Yeah.
Lawrence, you've had a bit of experience in the genre with shows like Game of Thrones previously and doing certain action sequences. Blood Origin has some of the most brutal action sequences I've seen in a while. So what was the training process like that?
I think one of the standout things from the show was the amount of stunt work. And I think we went through the audition process a lot. I think it was about 10 auditions, and I had to send some stuff, doing a bit of physical work and stuff, just to see that I had the stamina for it. And then we got brought over 2 months before the shoot and put through a boot camp with the stunt team, which was like invaluable because we needed to really work on ourselves for the stamina to go through the show. But again, with the stunt stuff, Sophia, you can probably agree. Like it was just, I mean, it was a joy. They were tough work. We were tired and stuff, but I mean, we'd never want to quit. We'd keep going until we got it every single day, and even then we'd want to keep going because we just loved it so much.
It built the foundation for our characters. I think we were able to, really comb through the text alongside really building and accentuating our warrior movement. So they needed to go hand in hand, and so it gave us the time to do that.
Yeah, and that axe is big, man. I needed lessons. I had to swing that thing. I didn't go over there with all that knowledge, so I had to put through school.
Absolutely, got to look the role. Can't just
Exactly. All about the looks.
Absolutely. So you both shared an ample amount of screen time with veteran actress Michelle Yeoh, who I'm personally a fan of as well. What was it like working with her, and was there anything that you picked up from her about the process of doing action scenes or about filming these things in general?
I think the pace in which she works is so considered, but she's very calm and very open and friendly, and so that kind of fed through the set, and so she really set a precedent of how we were gonna continue to work. So it was amazing just to watch her in different ways and to ask her questions and kind of lean on her, and it was invaluable to kind of just watch her and have her source of knowledge of the industry and her knowledge of stunt work available to us.
Yeah, she was great. I mean, like Michelle Yeoh was an absolute legend. We've, like yourself, grown up watching her on screen. So, but she can demystify herself really quickly. I mean, we all play elves in the show, and the first sentence she said to me was, "Give us a look. Are they yours ears? Are they your ears? Okay, I'll see where they cast you." And she just walked off. So, I mean, she was just, yeah, she can bust your balls a little bit as well. You know, she gives as good as she gets.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I got a screener for the first couple of episodes. I think the show is lots of fun. You all did an excellent job from start to finish. So,
Thank
wishing
you.
you guys the best of luck for the series once it releases in December. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Hey, it's Eli Johnson with nerdsofcolor.org. Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me join you.
Absolutely. So, starting from the very top, what was your first introduction to The Witcher as a franchise? Was it through the books or through the games or through the TV show?
It's actually through the TV show was how I first got to know it. When it came to Netflix, my sister and I sat down and watched it, and I loved it. And then when I got the role of Merwin, I went to the books to explore what there was already about the past that I didn't know. That's the order I went to, and I would like to get. I'm not quite ready to game just yet, but I think in the next month I will. I'm just going to set aside some time and just go for it.
So your character, Merwin, plays a very delicate role in that she's never quite in control when things start out initially, because she's really being handled by Balor and Eridan, who were played masterfully by Lenny Henry and Jacob Collins-Levy, respectively. So what was the dynamic like between you three on set?
Between I have such love and admiration for the both of them. I think it was great, and it was so fun to be. It's so fun when you care about or enjoy with someone that you can have a sort of a bit of anger towards in as your character. So it was like we felt safe to do that with each other. There's lots of singing and laughing and joking. It was a real, but that's across the board with the cast. A real warmth was there. It was a really special time.
And there's a real abundance of strong female characters in the series, from the protagonist to the antagonist side. And that's one thing that really makes Blood Origin stand out in the sword and sorcery scene right now. So, as far as representation goes, what does it mean to you to be a part of such a diverse cast of characters?
I think it means the world to me to be a part of this and to be it's something I really care about, and I would love to see across the board and all sorts of films, television, media. I'm really proud to be a part of this show because of that, and it's exciting for me. I think people across the world can find someone in this show to see themselves in, or to like because of someone they like. There's a lot of joy to come from this, although some of the themes are incredibly dark. Yeah, I think that's something I take joy from.
Absolutely. Well, I was able to get a preview of the first four episodes, and I think you and the entire team did an awesome job honoring The Witcher as a series, as a franchise. So I really look forward to the debut in December. Thank you so much for your time. Starting from the very top, when deciding on doing a spinoff of a massive franchise like The Witcher and kind of extending the storyline, how do you decide on the right story to tell within that lore, and how did you find it with this series, Blood Origin? Laura.
It's interesting. I think that there are so many stories that we could tell at any given point. What I always loved about Sapkowski, though, is he set up this event, the Conjunction of the Spheres. It's literally mentioned in a couple of sentences in the books. And yet he also says, and it's super important, it's the origin of everything that we know now. The arrival of monsters, the arrival of humans, the downfall of the elves. And it's like, well, okay, we need to know more about that. For me personally, this story was the perfect thing to tell at this time because we're starting to see the elves shift in our world. They have been colonized, they have been beaten down, they're downtrodden, and we start to see them form the Scoia'tael in season 3, and we start to see them rise up in a slightly different form. So I will hand it over to Declan, but it really is like this point of this sort of apex of change for the elves. That's why now. You can talk about why.
Exactly. It was the thing I hooked onto personally in the Sapkowski books was the elves as the broken species who are downtrodden and colonized. and they're dealing with post-colonization and PTSD, and they're barely able to function, and they're dying off. And how did they get there? And how did the conjunction of spheres play into that? And what was that culture beforehand? And was it an idyllic culture? Was it an idyllic empire? And most likely, knowing our own world is with empires, no, it probably wasn't. They did shitty things, and nobody's perfect, and that's why we like a character gray. And I'm sure the empire was exactly like that. We tend to mythologize our past a lot sometimes and elevate things, but nothing is sweet. Nothing is absolutely perfect. So we wanted to present that and surprise fans, while still honoring the books.
Absolutely. So, Declan, Blood Origin has a very cool cast of characters led by Lawrence and Sophia. And so, when fleshing out the script, did you write any particular actors in line for some of the characters, or did you kind of do a casting process and kind of work it out that way?
There's one character that made it out of my list of, my big sort of original sit down to write the pilot, and I'm writing Skian. Who would Skian be like? Who's Skian? I'd be like, she'd be like Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was an elf. Yeah, let's write that. And then cut to, I'm on the phone to Michelle Yeoh going, would you please do our elf show? And she goes, I play an elf? Yes, okay. Because she doesn't have to work. And, she just does stuff she loves. And then she comes on, kicks arse, is the hardest working actor. It's awesome. But then we get to meet, we hung out for so long to get these voices just right. And a lot of these actors were new faces. And man, they gunned it. We were just talking about the music earlier. Like, I got to write music for this, but I didn't know who was going to be cast as Ayla. And then Sophia Brown comes in, who hadn't sung, and she sings like a fucking angel, right? The scene in the cave, that was her first one take. And yeah, that's all I have to say on that. We just lucked out.
Great talent across the board. I was able to get a look at the first 4 screeners from Netflix, and I think you guys totally knocked it out of the park. It's a very fun show and really does justice to the Witcher legacy. So thank you guys so much for your time today, and we look forward to seeing the show when it debuts in December.
Thank you so much.
Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The Hard Knock Life. Comics, movies,